I'm John Jorgensen. I'm here today with Michael Schnitzer, president of Stanley Martin Custom Homes. Welcome, Michael.
Hey, John.
So we're going to chat right now about how it is at Stanley Martin Custom Homes. We have the ability to manage everything from A to Z. So one of the things that most of our buyers appreciate, in fact, most of our buyers are busy folks. They're at work, they're raising a family, and the thought of building a home really just overwhelms them. And what they love about the Stanley Martin program is that we can step them through the entire process very well. We do it all the time. So can you tell us a little bit about how we approach this aspect of our organization with the buyers?
Sure. So good point in terms of A to Z, because, and you may have just touched on this, some buyers do want to manage their site development, whether it's they have the time or the inclination. But for 98% of our buyers, we manage the site development process, which includes gathering bids and just a whole host and paying bills on behalf of our customer. But from an A to Z standpoint, it starts with me going out to the site, reviewing the criteria on site, taking pictures, understanding the site so we can have an intelligent conversation with the buyer. Quite often the customer doesn't know what they don't know. So
Right.
we have to step them through the process. We don't also want to inundate them with so much detail up front that it's just, it'll be mind-blowing, right?
Right,
So we piecemeal it with next steps and things of that nature. But I would say if we break it down into the phases, there's the startup phase.
Right.
That's from when they sign a contract to when we start construction. And one of the things that we do is when a customer removes their contingency after signing a contract, we will
Right.
send them next steps. We'll have an anticipated schedule so that they can hold us accountable with deliverable dates. And we give them talking points so that when we're talking to them through the anticipated schedule and some of the things that we are doing,
Right.
they don't have to take notes. So
Right.
we piecemeal this out. We do everything. We pay the bills. We reconcile the site costs. If they want to go outside of our design studio, we're going to go with them outside the studio. So everything, and we mean it, everything from A to Z, we take care of for our buyers because, again, most buyers are busy, and this is our world, right?
Yeah, and you brought up some really important things, and I think this one of the things you touched on that I'm always impressed with at the Stanley Martin Custom Home Organization is the way we give our buyers talking points. And you started
Right.
the segment here by saying our buyers don't know what they don't know.
Right.
And I would say I have never been part of any organization in my entire life that went so far above and beyond to answer every single question that a buyer may have, even if that buyer is not asking the question.
Right.
So we do this throughout the sales process. So one of the things, Michael, that you and I did when we first teamed up here a long time ago was that we created a PowerPoint presentation and we were educating our buyers as they came through the door. All the buyers would ask questions. We would take all the questions from all the buyers and we would incorporate them into our presentation so we could disclose to everyone what it is that they should be asking, even if they're not. So not only do we handle everything from A to Z, but you know, the educational aspect of what it is we do is amazing.
Right. And just like when we start construction, we have another set of bullet points. I'll just use another phase. When we have a pre-construction meeting with the customer, we have a customer expectation document that we will review with them.
Right.
To get them prepared. And a lot of the things we've maybe already covered, right? Because again, our customers aren't into this business and they got to hear it a couple times, right? So there'll be multiple repetitive talking points.
Right.
We also have a customer expectation document before they go to settlement because of the warranty process that we may have already talked about 2 or 3 times beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
So going back to that, we handle everything from A to Z.
Right.
So as a buyer goes through this process, what types of things will they have to be involved with?
So certainly they have to be involved with the development of the plan, right? So we take could be a set of sketches that I developed or a set of red lines, and we will produce for them a sales-specific set. And we may go through a couple iterations of that preliminary building plan until our customer is happy with the end result. We don't say you get one set of revisions. We don't say you get two set of revisions. We say we will go through the process with you until you're happy with the end result.
Right.
So it's all about what are the key decision points, right? Measure twice, the old adage, and cut once. So we want to make sure we focus the customer on the building plan. We want to make sure we're educating the customer on how to read the plan.
Right.
So we have a video that goes out for our customers. We want to educate the customers also on how to read the grading plan. That's the site plan. It talks about topography. So we have to spend a good amount of time. It can be by phone, vis-a-vis Skype. Sometimes it's in the office. We want to make sure we are managing the customer's time in the most useful way, right? So if a customer says, oh my God, I want to come in and meet with you and go over this, we're never going to say no.
Right.
Most customers would prefer to do this via Skype or do it by phone.
Right.
And so there's many things like this. Obviously the design, right? Picking out finishes, making cabinet selections and cabinet layouts. We want to spend time going through with our customers the mechanical layout, right? Where do the ceiling registers go? Where do the floor registers go?
Right.
A customer may say, oh, you have a thermostat over here. Well, I want to hang a picture of my family there.
Right.
Well, fine, we can move the thermostat here. Or, oh, by the way, we really can't move the thermostat because it's controlling the intake air.
Right.
And it needs to go there.
Right.
So we don't want an unpleasant surprise like that to pop up in the field. We want to go through it early on before we start construction.
So from just kind of stepping us through the whole thing. So a buyer comes in, they go through the initial sales phase, they remove their contingency, and now we are getting proposals for the site work. So the buyer's not involved in the site work aspect of the build other than they're going to do what with the proposals that come in.
Right. So we'll once we have a grading plan, we'll send the grading plan out for bid. We will review the bids, proposals. We will scrub them. We will reconcile those bids, the lowest price, typically, into the site estimate. We will give everything to the customer and schedule a call or a Skype meeting to go over it with the customer.
Right.
We're not expecting them to digest all this stuff. We want to give it to them.
Yep.
We're doing the work for them if they pay the site management fee to reconcile the cost before we start construction.
Right.
Site work.
So, and I think we also have the ability to modulate how involved a buyer is, right? Because we have some buyers who are extremely curious and they want to get involved in every detail.
Right.
And then we have other buyers who literally say to us, just call me when the keys are ready. Right?
Certainly.
So we can handle everything in between. So I think it's important to note that for our buyers that we have who want to be involved in every detail, we are happy to bring them into every detail.
Right.
And it's sometimes we really get deep into the detail.
Right. And I think you bring up a good point. But I will say being involved in the building plan, and it really just depends on how much time they're going to spend with that, or the grading plan, there is some involvement because we need their feedback. We need to make sure we have alignment with them.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So if a buyer so when a buyer comes in and says, just call me when the keys are ready, we would say to them,
we're probably not your right builder.
Yeah.
That will lead to a unpleasant experience.
Exactly. But so for that buyer who wants minimal involvement, they need to budget. I usually tell them, you gotta budget somewhere between 15 and 30 hours in the sales phase, right, of their time in order to really understand everything. Maybe not that much, but
I mean, it really depends on how detailed the buyer is
Yeah.
and how detailed the plan is.
Right.
And I think you said it right. You scale up or down.
Yeah.
So if a plan has one detail, you would expect you're spending much less time in the details as if you had a person with 100 details.
Right,
You were going
right,
to spend
right.
an enormous amount of time.
Exactly.
So-
And then, so you've got some time commitment during the sales phase, time commitment during the startup phase.
Absolutely.
We're going to scrub the proposals, but
Right.
we'll review them with them. And then once construction starts, talk about the weekly
Sure.
meetings and the things that we do there and what their involvement should be. And, they don't obviously have to come to every meeting.
Absolutely.
But let's talk a little bit
So
about
I would
that.
say, so first of all, we're building on the customer's lot. The customer has the right to go into their house anytime, right? So
Right.
they're free to access the house. Obviously, when we get into drywall, we put a lockbox in. We give our customer password or passcode so they can get into their house, but we want to keep it locked. The next level down, if you will, we have the weekly meetings. We talked about this in another segment, but this is an intersection. We're building a house, but we could just as easily be building a widget. At the
Right.
highest level, we're only a manufacturer, right?
Right.
So what do manufacturers do? They want to make sure from a project management perspective, they're building whatever it is one time, and they need intersections to make sure that everybody's singing from the same sheet of music.
Right, right.
We're building things one time, and we have a level of accountability.
Right.
So our project managers send out an agenda, they have meeting minutes, and everybody feels comforted with this.
Right.
We have some customers that are Department of Defense, State Department, whatever, and a lot of times we're doing things using FaceTime
Right.
or Skype. So we have alternate methods
Yep.
to intersecting.
Well, we have buyers that buy homes on the internet that are overseas.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
That's what I meant by
Yeah,
State
yeah.
Department, right?
Yeah.
Overseas, where they can't physically come to the job,
Right.
So at the highest level, the interaction, we want to have a weekly. If a customer can't make it to the field, we can do it by telephone
Yeah.
call. But one of our mandatory aspects is a weekly meeting.
Yeah.
Got to have it.
Yeah. So at the highest level, we handle everything from A to Z. And some of our buyers are heavily involved, and
Right.
some of our buyers are lightly involved.
And a customer, John, that wants to manage their site, it's not like they can't call us for help.
Right. We're coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like we can't give them our vendor list. Now, the vendors may not give them the same pricing.
Right.
But they'll give them the same courtesy.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And so they can feel comforted that way.
Yeah, so that is a great point. So I think we do charge a management fee to manage the site work.
Right.
When a buyer wants to save that management fee and they want to manage the site work on their own, they're probably not saving the totality of that management fee. They might be, so if we're charging $10,000 to manage the site work, maybe they're saving $5,000, right? Because some of the, we don't know, right?
So certainly time is money.
Yeah.
The amount we charge is significantly less of the time that we spend managing the site.
Right.
Because there's the back office side.
Exactly.
In procurement and on payment. There's a whole host of things that go on with that. But what I would say is it's probably close to at least cost neutral.
Right.
Because vendor X or subcontractor X is not going to give you the same
Right.
price they're going to give me.
Right. So it makes sense to just let us take care of everything from A to Z.
But to each his own.
Exactly. All right, so that's fantastic. Is there anything else you think we need to comment on there with regard to we handle everything from A to Z?
No,
think that pretty much sums
I
it
would
up.
say probably the only other thing is if we look at warranty,
Yeah.
right? So I preach to the company, to our employees, either be proactive, be on your toes, or reactive, and you can be on your heels.
Right.
Is a much more pleasant experience for both our customers and our employees if we're proactive. So what I
Right.
mean by that, just take one example, right? So we know, just like our customers know, when their scheduled service is. So
Right.
what would be a reactive approach? Oh, we'll just sit around and wait for the 60-day scheduled visit.
Right.
And maybe some customers will forget about it, right?
Right.
We say, we know when it is. We will schedule with our customers prior to the 60-day visit. And then obviously conduct the warranty
Right.
and the scheduled service, right?
Right,
So that's
right,
a
right.
proactive approach. Much better for the customer, much better for us. We can manage our workflow better
And
as
we
well.
know it's got to be done.
Yeah.
You know,
So
Simple.
that's another example.
Absolutely great. Well, fantastic. So I think that sums up our discussion on the fact that we handle everything from A to Z. I'm John Jorgensen here with Michael Schnitzer. We're going to continue our discussion in a new segment. So stay tuned.